Well, Facebook by itself can't do anything, but the people on Facebook can use it for a lot of good effect. I think what's beautiful about Facebook in Poland, as in many other countries, is the large chunk of the population on it. 10 million Polish people on Facebook. If you're an individual or an NGO interested in finding other people who agree with you, who are angry about the same things or happy about the same things, you can reach them through Facebook in a way that you can't through traditional media. It's very hard to negotiate a television contract to reach 10 million people. If you want to start a Facebook page, you can do it right now. That's an immensely powerful thing. After that, once you reach them, the hard work starts. You have to figure out what to do with them. The fact that they like you on Facebook is only the beginning. But for a tool that can help you find anybody else who actually cares, pretty amazing. Yesterday I made a joke that Facebook won't make you breakfast, but perhaps it will help you find 10 people who will. What is amazing about Facebook is the fact that it can reach many, many people and engage them in a discussion. Now, that discussion, as we all know from Facebook, tends to be like, share, or ignore it, which is the same as not liking it. So it's a very, very basic discussion. Really, anybody who wants to create a sense of mass, of political mass, can do this on Facebook by having people express their like for something, sharing even more so. What I'm specifically referring to, for instance, is a couple of years ago, Malcolm Gladwell wrote an article called "The Revolution Will Not Be Tweeted," in which he said that basically online activism is a weak form of activism. It's not so powerful as getting people in the streets offline. I agree with that and disagree with that. I agree with that in the sense that it is the beginning of a conversation that has to be taken somewhere. It has to be facilitated. NGOs have to keep people engaged and listen through Facebook, not just tell them things. This is a really nice part about Facebook. You can gather a lot of information and opinion. Where I disagree with Gladwell is that in the United States, for instance, where he's coming from and where he's writing, sure, it's easy to say that it's not important or it's not powerful when somebody likes something on Facebook. Look at it from the opposite side here, though. Look at it from the Romanian context. Right now, roughly 40,000 people behind Unit Salvam, which is an online community against corruption, against a mining project in Romania. 40,000 people whose name is now associated with a serious political movement. That's a major step in Romania and a lot of this part of the world where simply expressing for the first time, I am angry, this is me, you can find me if you want to, it's a big step. It's not silent protest at all when your name is associated with it. So as the beginning, as the way to start something which can be facilitated, again, it's an amazing opportunity for civil society. It's more meaningful here, I think, in most of the, let's say, non-Western world. Obviously, Poland and Eastern Europe are pretty Western, but still, as an emerging civil society, it can be the first time somebody says something. After that, NGOs have to keep them engaged. That's not the end of the discussion. Absolutely, as it was in North Africa and the Middle East in the last couple of years. You know, when you have a clear enemy, when you have a clear situation where people are generally angry and there's a tipping point, there's a point in the conversation that really crystallizes that anger as, you know, standing up and saying, you know, we're not going to take it anymore. He had a certain kind of media, a certain kind of way of communicating through the solidarity movement that would have been much broader had there been social media available at the time. That said, when you're talking about situations where there's state control of the internet, it's a dangerous game because, as we know back then, and in a lot of the world now, the government is watching what you like on Facebook. They are watching who you associate with. So it's, you know, it's easy to say it could have helped it move faster, but the government would never have allowed Facebook to be available at the time, as right now it's not available in China. Could Facebook help Chinese people find each other and organize against the Chinese government? Of course it could. The government won't let that happen. So it's a balance, right? I'm not saying the Chinese people need to. They have many, many other ways of organizing themselves and many ways of working with their government. Fine, that's great. But, you know, there's a balance between theoretically, hypothetically, it could have helped if it were allowed to be available. There was a question at a conference recently, is Facebook stronger than governments? If they have Facebook, maybe it is. If the government can turn off Facebook, well, it doesn't matter anymore, does it? It doesn't exist. So, you know, it's a balance. I think what again is amazing about Facebook is figuring out who else cares. Understanding what is usually a silent majority of people who actually agree with you. Most people in the world have a pretty decent sense of social justice. They don't like the fact that things aren't good. And if you can communicate specific arguments to them, most people will agree with you. But you have to do that. You have to find them. And Facebook can help create that sense of a community out there. Maybe they'll never give you money. Maybe they'll never go to the streets, but they're there and they agree. That's good to know. Maybe, can Facebook ever replace face-to-face communication ever? Ever is a long time, maybe. In the short term, I doubt it, because civil society and social change operates based on trust and networks of trust. You have to know the people that you're walking into the street with. It's helpful, at least, to have a sense of trust behind those things. That trust doesn't come from Facebook necessarily. It can start there, but real deep leadership in particular, the kinds of strength and solidarity it takes to lead movements, comes from a lot of offline time. So I think for the average person, for the general population, this silent majority who is angry but may never actually lead a movement, Facebook is enough. They don't really need the face-to-face. They can express themselves, they can go to the protests, they can join this thing, they can do that. For the leaders of movements, they need a little bit more. If I'm gonna be in a situation where I need to start an organization, start a lawsuit, I may be sued, I may go to jail, then it'd be really nice to know my friends a little better than Facebook. Well, the simple truth about crowdfunding is that it is effective when it's easy. If it is difficult for people to pull out their credit card or pull out their phone and make a donation, crowdfunding works. If it's difficult because they don't have a credit card or they have no SMS giving options, it doesn't work. If they have to go do a bank transfer, good luck. It has to be very, very, very simple. The reality of fundraising in the United States and why it's such a big industry and it works so well is it's damn easy. Click to give, done, move on. I see something, I like it, I give it $5, I move on with my day. It was fun, it was nice, it was a little positive reinforcement, and it didn't take any time. If I had to invest my time in that, it gets unlikely. You start losing people. And I think in this part of the world in particular, crowdfunding, it's not that people don't care. There are some very successful fundraising campaigns, but when it comes to crowdfunding, the actual mechanics are not necessarily in place yet to make it effective. If everyone had a credit card, if everyone could give through their phone, it would be very, very simple, and I think it would take off very quickly. Until that happens, it's going to be a little slow. I think what's fascinating to me about Poland in ICT terms is it really maps to this pyramid of need, like Maslow's hierarchy. There are a lot of NGOs out there, many, many very small local NGOs who are using very basic tools just to get through the day. Awesome, we all need that layer of just operational technology, office tools, productivity tools. Ones who are a little more into campaigning, they've got tools. They've got the Facebooks, they've got the Twitters, you've got decent coverage in the country, people are starting to use it. And then you've got a few real amazing leaders in IT thought for social change. Some of the different centers in this country, they're leaders, they're brilliant as it comes to thinking about IT for social benefit. So I think that the Polish market is a little bit larger than many markets around here, so it's a little more advanced. There's still a long way to go, but some of it comes back to the crowdfunding question. If I'm an NGO, what do I need? Most of the time, the answer is very simple. I need money and I need support. Technologies that can enable that will be adopted quickly and used very well. If those technologies aren't easy for the general public, if there's no promise in crowdfunding, then NGOs won't use it. So, it's a mix, but on a daily operational basis, most people get it. Sure, they could use it more. Everyone could, but I don't use technology. I mean, look at Excel. How many of us use all the functions in Excel? I don't even know what they are.